Welcome to my farm, folks. I have been working this land for over 60 years, and every spring people ask me the exact same question. They always ask, Jack, how much money do you spend on expensive fertilizers to get those giant cucumbers? Well, let me tell you a little secret. Look at this incredible harvest, 500%. Yes, you heard that right, a 500% increase in cucumber yield. And it didn't cost me a single dollar. Believe it or not, the secret isn't in those shiny plastic bags from the garden center. It's actually sitting right there in your kitchen trash can. That's right, I'm talking about a simple banana peel from your morning breakfast. It's an absolute powerhouse of nutrients, especially for hungry, climbing cucumber vines. You see, cucumbers are incredibly fast growers. When they start setting those yellow flowers and pushing out fruits, they drain the soil's energy very quickly. To keep producing those crisp, giant fruits, they crave one specific mineral above all else. They need a massive amount of potassium to stay strong. And guess what? That humble brown banana peel you throw away is packed with up to 42% potassium. It is pure liquid gold for plants. Now, you could go to the store and buy synthetic potassium fertilizer. It'll cost you $20 a bottle. But I strongly advise against it. When you dump synthetic chemicals on your garden, you get a quick burst of growth, but you are slowly killing the living soil underneath. Nature never intended for us to feed plants directly with chemicals. In a healthy garden, we must feed the soil and let the soil feed the plants. Just one handful of this rich, dark earth contains over 1 billion microscopic workers. It's a bustling underground city that breaks down organic matter perfectly. When we introduce banana peels the right way, we provide a feast for these microbes. They transform the peel into bioavailable plant food almost instantly. The result is a continuous, slow release of natural potassium directly to the cucumber roots. No chemical burns, no wasted money, just pure organic growth. So, how exactly do we turn this kitchen waste into a high-powered organic fertilizer? Stick around because the process is simpler than you might think. Now, you might be wondering, why not just go to the garden center and grab a bag of that blue chemical powder? It seems easier, right? Well, here's the thing about synthetic NPK fertilizers. They are essentially like feeding your growing cucumber plants a massive, artificial sugar rush. These cheap chemicals leave behind harsh salt deposits in the earth. Over just a few seasons, those salts slowly destroy the delicate underground ecosystem. I've seen it happen time and time again. Farmers get addicted to the quick results, but eventually the natural life in their soil completely dies off. What you are left with is just dead, compacted dirt. It can no longer hold water, and it definitely cannot feed a heavy-feeding cucumber vine naturally. Without a living soil web, your plants become entirely dependent on you buying more and more of those expensive chemical bags every single month. My grandfather used to say, "We don't grow plants, we grow soil." You must stop treating the symptoms and start feeding the microbiology down below. Just imagine, a single tablespoon of healthy, organic soil contains over 1 billion microscopic bacteria. That is more people than the entire population of Europe. These tiny workers are the real heroes. They constantly break down organic matter and unlock trapped nutrients, making them perfectly available for your plant's roots. And we cannot forget our best friends, the earthworms. One single worm can process up to 10 pounds of soil a year, creating pure black gold. When you have millions of these guys working for free, your cucumber roots grow incredibly deep, strong, and highly resistant to common diseases and drought. So how do we keep this massive underground workforce happy and productive? The answer is not in a laboratory, it is sitting right in your kitchen. That humble banana peel is the perfect organic food. It feeds the microbes, which in turn feed the cucumbers, creating a beautifully balanced, sustainable, natural cycle. Let me show you exactly how to unlock the 42% potassium hidden inside this peel. There are 2 simple methods, both costing $0. Now, let us talk about why potassium is so important. Think of potassium as the main transportation highway inside your heavy-feeding cucumber vines. When those beautiful yellow flowers appear, the plant shifts its energy. It needs massive amounts of potassium to transform those tiny blooms into giant fruits. Potassium regulates the opening and closing of stomata, which are tiny pores on the leaves. This controls exactly how the plant breathes and retains water. Without enough of this vital mineral, the water pressure inside the stem drops completely. The whole vine becomes incredibly vulnerable to sudden heat and severe drought. But here is the amazing thing. A single dried banana peel contains up to 42% potassium. That is nature's own perfect, slow-release fertilizer capsule. When it breaks down in the living earth, it releases potassium steadily. It does not wash away quickly with the rain like those expensive synthetic chemicals. Have you ever seen the edges of your cucumber leaves turning a crispy, burned yellow? That is not a disease, folks. That is a severe potassium deficiency. And what about those weird, misshapen cucumbers that are fat at one end and skinny at the other? Yes, that is exactly what happens without enough potassium. Some folks try to fix this quickly by pouring heavy chemical potassium directly onto the soil. But let me tell you, that is a huge mistake. Those highly concentrated artificial salts will literally burn the delicate white root tips of your plants. It shocks the entire system and destroys the microscopic life. Nature's way is entirely different. The organic potassium in a banana peel is bound up in natural carbon structures, releasing only as the soil microbes process it. This means the cucumber vine gets a steady, gentle feeding every single day. It never gets burned, and it never runs out of fuel during fruiting. When you provide continuous, organic potassium, the results are simply mind-blowing. You will harvest cucumbers so big and crisp, your neighbors will not believe their eyes. So, how do we prepare these peels? The first method is what I like to call liquid gold. It is incredibly fast and very easy to make. All you need is a clean glass jar, some fresh water, and the leftover peels from your family's breakfast. Let us brew some high-powered plant tea. First, take those leftover banana peels and chop them into small pieces. This increases the surface area, helping the water extract the potassium much faster. Next, drop those chopped pieces into your clear glass mason jar. You do not need anything fancy, just a clean jar from your kitchen cabinet. Now, fill the jar with clean water. If you are using city tap water, let it sit out for a day first to evaporate the chlorine. Put a loose lid on it and let it sit in a dark, room temperature corner for about 2 to 3 days. Do not seal it completely tight. During this time, a gentle fermentation process happens. The water slowly turns into a cloudy, nutrient-dense liquid gold, pulling out all that incredible organic potassium. After a few days, you will notice the liquid has darkened. It might smell slightly earthy, but that is perfectly normal and exactly what we want. Now simply strain the liquid into a watering can. Do not throw those old, soggy peels away just yet. We will use them for our second method. This concentrated tea is very strong. You must dilute it with fresh water. A ratio of 1 part tea to 5 parts water is absolutely perfect. Mixing it down ensures your cucumber roots get a steady, gentle feeding without being overwhelmed. Remember, we want to feed the soil biology slowly and naturally. Take your diluted mixture and pour it directly around the base of the cucumber vine. Try to keep the leaves dry to prevent any powdery mildew. Watch how beautifully the living soil absorbs that liquid gold. The microscopic bacteria and fungi will immediately grab hold of those nutrients and deliver them. Down below the surface, the white cucumber roots are literally drinking up this potassium-rich feast. It is an instant energy boost right when the plant needs it. Within just a few days of this gentle feeding, you will notice the leaves looking greener, the vines growing thicker, and more yellow flowers blooming. I do this every 2 weeks during the fruiting stage. It costs $0, recycles your kitchen waste, and keeps the soil ecosystem incredibly healthy. But what about those soggy leftover peels? Or what if you do not want to make tea? Well, let me show you the trench composting method. If you want an even easier way to feed your plants, Let me show you trench composting. It is the ultimate lazy gardener's secret weapon. Instead of brewing tea, we take those exact same leftover soggy peels, or even fresh ones, and feed them directly to the underground soil workers. Grab a small hand trowel and find a spot near your cucumber vine. You want to stay about 6 inches away from the main stem. We do not want to disturb the main taproot. Just dig a small, shallow trench right here, about 4 to 6 inches deep into the earth. By putting the food slightly away from the base, you actually encourage the cucumber roots to stretch out and grow much wider and stronger. Now, simply drop your chopped banana peels right into that trench. They will break down slowly, providing a steady supply of potassium for weeks. To make it a complete meal, I love tossing in some crushed eggshells for calcium and a handful of used coffee grounds for organic nitrogen. Once your kitchen waste is in there, simply cover it back up with the rich, dark soil. Make sure it is buried completely beneath the surface. Burying it is absolutely crucial, folks. If you leave kitchen scraps exposed on top of the soil, you will immediately attract fruit flies and nasty pests. But down under the soil, a magical transformation begins almost immediately. The dark, moist environment is exactly what our subterranean workforce has been waiting for. The local earthworms will smell this decaying organic matter and rush over to feast. They consume the peels and leave behind incredibly rich worm castings. Those worm castings are nature's most perfect fertilizer. They contain highly concentrated, water-soluble nutrients that your cucumber roots can absorb instantly without any chemical burn. This creates a beautiful, natural nutrient pocket. As the plant grows and demands more energy to produce those giant fruits, the pocket delivers exactly what is needed. Your vines will reward you with an absolute explosion of growth. The leaves stay dark green, and the cucumbers grow perfectly straight, crisp, and huge. Both the liquid tea and the trench method are incredibly powerful. But to make them work perfectly, you must understand the microscopic life down below. When you have watched as many sunrises in the garden as I have, you realize the real magic happens entirely underground, completely invisible to our eyes. In just one handful of healthy earth, there are over 1 billion microscopic bacteria. They are the tireless factory workers processing your leftover brown banana peels. And then we have the incredible fungal mycelium. These delicate white threads form a massive underground internet, connecting the extracted nutrients directly to your cucumber roots. I will tell you a little secret. We are not actually feeding the cucumber plant at all. We are simply feeding this massive, hungry, microscopic army. When that underground army is well fed and perfectly happy, your vines become incredibly resilient. They can effortlessly fight off sudden heat waves and common powdery mildew diseases. The ultimate result is a continuous, abundant harvest of heavy, crisp cucumbers. But here is where many enthusiastic beginners accidentally destroy their own incredibly hard work. Now pay attention to this part. Even with the best organic materials, there are a few critical mistakes that can absolutely ruin your entire vegetable crop. The most common mistake is simply tossing those brown banana peels right on top of the soil. This does absolutely nothing beneficial for the deep roots. Instead of feeding the earthworms, exposed kitchen scraps quickly dry out in the hot sun and immediately attract swarms of annoying fruit flies and nasty pests. That is exactly why you must always bury your organic waste at least 4 to 6 inches deep, where the underground soil moisture remains perfectly constant. Another huge mistake is digging the trench right against the main stem. Believe it or not, doing this can actually kill a perfectly healthy cucumber vine. As those raw organic materials begin breaking down, they generate a slight amount of natural heat and aggressive microbial activity that can rot the tender stem. Always leave a safe 6-inch gap of plain soil between your trench and the plant. The hungry cucumber roots will naturally stretch outward to find it. This strategic placement forces the root system to expand wider and much deeper, creating an incredibly sturdy foundation that easily supports heavy, water-filled cucumber fruit production. If you avoid those simple errors, your kitchen waste becomes pure magic. But wait until you see the third critical mistake, which involves your daily watering habits. Now, the third mistake is how you water. Many folks grab a hose and lightly spray the whole plant every single day. That is completely wrong. When you just sprinkle the surface, the water evaporates incredibly fast. More importantly, it trains your cucumber roots to stay shallow and incredibly lazy. Shallow roots cannot reach that deep trench of decaying banana peels we just made. They will suffer terribly when the hot afternoon summer sun hits. Plus, if you constantly wet those large green leaves, you are practically inviting devastating powdery mildew to completely destroy your beautiful, hard-working cucumber vines. Nature has its way of teaching us. You need to water deeply, directly at the base of the plant, just 2 or 3 times a week. This deep soaking method forces those white roots to push downward, seeking moisture and finding that hidden pocket of rich, potassium-packed worm castings. Look closely below the surface. The water trickles down perfectly, and the roots stretch deeper, building an incredibly strong anchor that can survive severe drought. But to lock that moisture in and keep our microscopic army happy, we absolutely must apply a thick blanket of protective organic mulch over the topsoil. You can use dry autumn leaves, untreated grass clippings, or even plain cardboard. Just spread a nice thick layer right over the trench and root zone. This simple organic blanket drops the soil temperature significantly during summer. It prevents the hot sun from baking the earth and killing those precious surface microbes. Underneath that protective layer, the earthworms can work right up to the surface safely, breaking down the remaining banana peels into pure, available plant energy. By combining deep watering with a thick organic mulch, you can actually reduce your garden's water consumption by up to 50% this season. Your vines will stay beautifully hydrated, the soil biology will thrive without interruption, and your plants will have endless energy to push out massive fruits. It is an incredibly simple system. You are just mimicking the natural forest floor, letting nature do the heavy lifting while you reap the rewards. If you follow these steps, you are guaranteed a harvest that will blow your mind. Let me show you exactly what a 500% increase looks like. Just imagine stepping into your garden and finding this. By simply feeding the soil biology with kitchen waste, you unlock nature's true, boundless growth potential. Look at this incredible harvest. We are pulling dozens of massive, crisp cucumbers from a single vine, and it did not cost us a single dollar. When I was younger, my grandfather taught me this exact method. He always said that nature provides absolutely everything we need if we pay attention. Compare this to plants grown with expensive chemical fertilizers. Those synthetic methods eventually destroy the earth, leaving you with weak vines and very disappointing harvests. But here is the truth. When you build living soil with organic compost and protective mulch, you are actually investing deeply in the future of your land. Every single brown banana peel, every crushed eggshell, and every handful of coffee grounds becomes a vital building block for this incredible, thriving underground ecosystem. 500%. Yes, you heard that right. A 500% increase in your cucumber yield. And the best part is the unbelievable, sweet, natural flavor. You will never want to eat a store-bought cucumber ever again. The crispness and the high water content of these organic vegetables are truly unmatched. So tomorrow morning, instead of throwing your breakfast scraps into the garbage bin, take them out to the garden. Your microscopic underground army is waiting. Start small if you need to. Dig a shallow trench, bury those peels safely, and cover it all up with a nice, thick blanket of mulch. Before you know it, you will have the most productive, disease-free vegetable garden in your entire neighborhood, all while saving water and saving your hard-earned money. In the end, the simplest things really do work best. We are just helping nature do what she has already been doing perfectly for millions of years. I truly hope you try this $0 fertilizer secret in your own backyard this season. Let me know how your massive cucumber harvest turns out below. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to the channel for more natural gardening tips. We have plenty more old-school farming secrets to share with you. Until next time, keep your hands dirty, take good care of your living soil, and happy gardening to you and your beautiful family. See you soon, folks.